A little theory about your subsidiary books. होता क्या है subsidiary books? See, journal is your books of original entry, correct? And from journal, what do you make? From journal, we make ledger. Now, just think, in a big organization, in a large organization, if there is only one journal and from that you have to post all the entries in one day in ledger, how cumbersome it will be. So, to divide that effort, we employ more people and we just, as per transactions, we make different books. Say for purchase books, for your sales books, and then purchase return, sales return books, then bills receivable books, bills payable books, and the remaining entry which does not fit anywhere into journal proper. So when the question is why journal is divided in subsidiary books, because it is important, from journal entries we make ledger, and if the number of transactions is high, if number of transactions is high, then what will happen? It will become very cumbersome. So number of books will be required to be maintained. Therefore, concept of subsidiary books came into existence, and as per the nature of transaction, we make different books called as subsidiary books. So as per nature of transaction, accordingly we make different books. Called as subsidiary books. Okay. So by now you must have understood. So let's see that how subsidiary books can be divided on the basis of transaction. This we have done earlier, just revising it. See. फर्स्ट बेसिस, कैश और बैंक ट्रांजैक्शन तो होता ही है, कैश और बैंक के बिना कुछ चलता नहीं. सो कैश बैंक ट्रांजैक्शन, where will you record cash or bank transaction? In your cash book or petty cash book, right? So cash book or petty cash book. Now comes your credit. If it is not cash, it has to be credit transaction. So your credit transaction. Second comes up your bill of exchange. The third number is your bill of exchange transaction. And the fourth, which does not fit anywhere, other transaction. Goes to your journal proper. Okay. So let's recap. See, subsidiary books on the basis of transaction. ट्रांजैक्शन के बेसिस पे उसको कैसे आप डिवाइड करेंगे. इफ इट इज कैश या बैंक का ट्रांजैक्शन, सो कैश बुक और पेटी कैश बुक. इफ इट इज क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन, सो क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ मीन्स क्रेडिट में करोगे क्या, या तो यू विल मेक परचेज, सो परचेज बुक, or you will involve in sales, credit sales, so sales books. Or what, purchase करोगे तो purchase return, so purchase return book. And when there is sales, sales return book. Okay, this is all about your credit transactions. And bill of exchange transaction. So bill of exchange can again be of two types. One is bills receivable book. And the other will definitely be bills payable book. And when the transaction doesn't fit anywhere, then it will go to your journal proper. Okay? Moving on. What is the need of subsidiary book? चाहिए ही क्यों subsidiary book? Because first point we have actually discussed, in large organization there are number of transactions, right? So in large organization there should be division of work. Among the clerks there should be division of work. So we need subsidiary book. One man can sit and make all the purchase entry in your purchase book. Second man can sit and make it in your sales book, and so on. So there is division of work in large organization. Now second point, see specialization. If I keep on doing one thing every time, then what will happen? Actually practice makes a man perfect is a true saying. So then that if I am specialized in something, that will increase my efficiency. The man who is making purchase book is daily sitting and making only purchase books. So obviously he will specialize in that and do his work better. Okay. Now the third point, there is time saving as the work is divided among people. So there is time saving. With so many transactions, which we cannot have only one head recording all the transactions. So when work is divided, definitely there is time saving. Fourth point, information is readily available to each type of transaction. So if I need to see purchase related transaction, I will go to the purchase book. If I need to see sales related transaction, I will go to the sales related book without searching within all about the transactions. So information is readily available if we prepare subsidiary books. Okay, now the fifth point, internal check. Work of one person is sitting and making journal, and the other person from the journal is making a subsidiary book. So work of one person is checked by other, that is internal check. As work is divided, even in big organizations we have this work of one person should be checked by other, okay, for maybe a small period of time, but that is done. So that is the need of subsidiary books, why we are actually making subsidiary books. Okay. Now next, what are the source documents for subsidiary book? आप बनाओगे किससे? source doc है क्या चीज जिसके बेसिस पे आप subsidiary books बनाते हो? So your first source document is your invoices, or you can call it as credit memo. In case of credit transactions, maybe purchase credit में किया है, sales of goods is in credit, invoice is issued by seller to the buyer. Seller will issue an invoice to the buyer. For seller, you call it as an outward invoice because seller is giving it. So outward invoice. And who is receiving it? The buyer is receiving it. So for buyer, It is called as inward invoice. Okay, now second point. फर्स्ट इनवॉइस के बेसिस पे सब्सिडरी बुक्स बनता है. सेकेंड इज डेबिट नोट्स. We have read about debit notes, or there is a detailed slide on debit notes. In short, I want to let you know that on return of goods to supplier, जिसने बेचा था उसको वापस कर दिया, debit given to his account by document which is called as debit note. So it is made on return of goods to supplier. Made on return of goods to supplier. And the third, if second is debit note, third has to be credit note. What is a credit note? On return of goods by customer. अभी मैंने बेचा और कस्टमर ने मुझे वापस रिटर्न किया है. So on return of goods by customer, credit is given to customer's account by document which is called as credit note. In detail we have a chapter discussing debit notes and credit notes. Now the fourth point, basis on which subsidiary books are prepared. Source document, other source document. Other than your credit transaction, you also have cash transaction. So your cash memo, okay, your receipts, vouchers, etc. for your cash transactions. They are also source document for subsidiary books. Moving on to the next slide. What is goods journal? क्या होता है? देखो, क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन, जो भी चीजों का क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन है, all credit transaction related to goods are called goods journal. Do you understand? Transaction related to goods are called together. They are called goods journal. So transactions related to goods in which you trade are called goods journal. See, now what do you mean by transactions related to goods? What all transactions can you have related to goods? It can be purchase transactions. It can be purchase return. Then it can be your sales or your sales return. So we make, what do we make? Purchase book, purchase return book, sales book and your sales return book. Okay? A recap on what is a purchase book. See, a purchase book, we record all the entries of purchase of goods in credit in our purchase book. Purchase book is also called as purchase day book, purchase day book, purchase journal, then you also called it as invoice book, and bought book. Okay, and remember, only credit transaction, only credit. Cash purchases, please don't start recording in your cash book. Only credit purchases. And that too of what? Of your goods. Of your goods. Not item other than goods. फर्नीचर खरीदा है, परचेज बुक में नहीं आएगा, even if क्रेडिट में खरीदा है. Only the items in which you are trading and that too you purchase in credit, that only will be recorded in your purchase book. So no cash purchase is recorded and no purchase of assets recorded in your purchase book. So write here, no cash purchase. Recorded here. No asset purchase. If asset is purchased in credit, please don't record it in purchase book. Okay? That is for your journal proper. Now, sales book. What is the other name of sales book? You record all your credit sales in your sales book. Sales book is also called as sales day book. Also called as sold book or sales journal. Okay, only credit sales are recorded in sales book. So what about cash sale? Or what about the sale of asset? They are not recorded in your sale book. Okay? Concern source documents on basis of which entries are recorded, invoice issued to customers or also called outward invoice to customers. हम customers को invoice देते हैं because we are selling the goods. So this is all about your sales book and purchase book.